Hello friends, I'm Karina Chin with karinascreations.com and I wanted to welcome you to the Grace's Garden card class. This is my stamp set of the month this month. We're going to make these 3 beautiful cards. And the Grace's Garden stamp set looks like this. I think you'll get a lot of use out of this stamp set. It's got, a little kitty, a little bird, a fence, some beautiful flower, and some really nice cheerful sentiments. So we're going to make 3 cards. This one is called a Storybook Fancy Fold card. And then this one we're going to use the Wink of Stella to do a little bit of coloring. And then on this card, it's just kind of a fun card which uses the coordinating dies. And it's got a little gate that opens up. Now this card is really cute. The dies are really cute, but they're not available right now. Hopefully before the end of the catalog, they will become available again. We haven't heard anything for sure yet. This is what it looks like. And I'll send you a few of these little gate pieces, a few extra pieces, just to play at home. And I already did a Facebook Live on this card the other day. I posted it in Karina Chin Stampin' Up! Demonstrator Facebook page. So I'm just going to show you how to cut the inside, because it's pretty self-explanatory and you already have all the PDF measurements for this. So this piece is 5 inches by 8 inches. And I'll get out my paper trimmer. 5 inches by 8 inches. And we have to do a little bit of scoring and cutting. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to line this edge up at 1 inch, and we're going to cut down from 1 inch to 7 inches. So you can see I'm putting my cutting blade here, 1 inch to 7 inches, and then I'm just going to take my paper and flip it over to the other side. I just find it's easier to do it that way. Less measurements to remember. Okay, and again, I'm cutting down from 1 inch to 7 inches. Now we have a bunch of scoring that we have to do. So we're going to line this side up line the inside up at 1 inch, and we're going to score the inside pieces in between the 2 cut lines that I just made. So I need to get my handy dandy trimmer. My trimmer blade, or my scoring blade, walked away, so I had to call Stampin' Up! To get it replaced. But in the meantime, I'm using my Take Your Pick tool. The Take Your Pick tool is really handy because you just twist it off and then you can add different pieces that come with it. For example, there's the paper piercing tool. There's a putty piece for picking up sequins. It's a really great tool and very handy when you happen to lose your scoring blade. Okay, so we're lining this edge up at 1 inch, and it's easier if I put the track down. And we're gonna score it in between the 2 lines that I cut, and then we're moving it over to 1.5 inches. And same thing, we're gonna cut along the inside. Okay, and then next we're gonna go over to 2.5 inches. Now this time we're gonna score the 2 outside lines. Okay, so that's at 2.5. Okay, and then we're going to score it all the way at 4 inches, because that folds our card in half. And now we're just going to turn the paper and do the exact same thing on the other side. So we're going to line this up. Oh, did I wiggle it? I think I wiggled it. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to score it in between the score lines at 1 inch, and then I'll slide it over to 1.5 inches. And then we're moving it over to 2.5 inches, and we're doing the 2 outside score lines. Call them outside, inside score lines. Okay, and then this is your Storybook fold. So that wasn't too bad. Let me show you how it folds up, because that can be a little bit tricky as well. And I like to make myself a template and keep my fancy folds in a little binder so that I know how to make it again. So what happens is this piece here is going to be a valley. This is going to be a mountain. This is going to be a valley. This is going to be a mountain fold and a valley fold. Okay, so this is the inside. And then the outside is going to be opposite. So this is a mountain. This is a valley. And then this one's a valley. Okay, so this is what we are going to get. What it looks like. And then when we go to close it up, see how it's folding like this? We don't want that. We want to pull this back. Let's see. Let's get this like this. There. It's easier if you pinch these ones in first. So inside panels, and then close it up. And this is exactly what it should look like. Then you just get your bone folder. And we'll just make a nice crisp crease like that. And then when you go to put it on the inside of your card, I like to use liquid glue. Whoops. Liquid glue. And you're just going to line it up on the inside right about here. So you want to make sure that you have about 1/4 of an inch cardstock from this edge to the end of the card, and same with the inside measurements, and that'll keep it straight. And then when you add your adhesive on this part and you just close up the card, then it is attached inside your card and will look like this. And then the rest is just decorating. So like I said, I've given you the measurements for the inside panels and then how to decorate the outside as well. So I'm not going to spend any more time on this card right now. This kit will be mailed out to a friend of mine who has ordered the kit from me. So I'll put that away. And then let's start on the next card, because I've not done a video for this. Okay, let's work on this one right now. So we just need a piece of Whisper White cardstock. And all I've done is cut it at 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches. And again, I do not have my scoring blade, so I'm going to have to do it this way. There we go. And that's at 4.25. So then we'll just make a score line. So you can see how well this tool works. If you lose your blade on your paper trimmer like I did, my scoring blade. And I need 2 bases, so I might as well do both of them. This is for a second card, so we'll just put that aside now. And then this one here is ready to go. And then let's get that together. Okay, now we need to get a piece of crumb cake cardstock. That looks like this. So it is 4 inches by 5.25 inches. And we're going to put that in the embossing folder. And I think this is the Bricks and Mortar 3D embossing folder. You know what? I'm going to stop. I'm going to do this first, actually. Let's actually cut out the wall, or the little hole, first of all. Okay, let's pull this up. This is my Big Shot machine. Okay. And we're just going to use my magnetic platform just because I have one. Not everybody has one of these. Don't worry, you don't really need it. And I just want to make sure that this is lined up. Hopefully in the video you can see what I'm doing. So excited to stay up with you guys today. It's a little bit snowy in Edmonton. It's pretty cold outside. Pretty cold right now. Okay, and with this die set that hopefully you'll be able to get, there's this piece here that will just cut kind of the door in a way. Okay, now see how it's shifting? This is the bad thing about the magnetic plate. Because I want to try center it so that I have the equal amount of cardstock showing on each side, because I want my little gateway to be centered. Okay, so let's put that one in this way, and then we'll send it through. And now that that is cut, then I'll get my other platform, and we are going to use the Bricks and Mortar 3D embossing folder now. But I'm only going to use it on the crumb cake layer. So let's just put this away for now. Okay, and then I also need, I always did put blue plate. So what I've done on my folders is I put blue plate because some of my folders are from 2 years ago and you need to use the white plate. They're a bit thicker than normal. All the dies that you order from me now will be using this blue plate if you have a die cutting machine. It's a different thickness than the white cutting pads, so it does make a difference. But it's a bit confusing for me because I have old dies, new dies that are still available, but the formulations change. So I just grab a Sharpie and write it right on my folder, and then I don't have any confusion. Okay, so that gives a really nice kind of gateway that you can do. Oh, and I guess we're also going to need to cut the gate, aren't we? Well, let's just, we'll do this first. Okay, so what I've done here is I wanted to add a little bit of texture. I want the bricks to actually pop. So I've taken my super old craft pad. You can buy the white craft ink refills from Stampin' Up. It comes in a new, different kind of pad. And then what I do is keep this little bag with my white dauber on it. And you don't even need the pad. You could just buy well, I don't think you can get the ink refill. I think it comes with the pad. I'm thinking it's around $12, but I could be mistaken. Don't hold me to that. But I just love it. It just adds a little bit of texture to the brick wall. And this would be really effective, I think, if I'd used like a burgundy color cardstock, because then it really would look like a brick wall. Okay, so now I've got that piece done. Now we need to cut our little gate. So let's get a piece of scrap paper that I've got right here, and I'll pull in my Big Shot again. And let's just get my magnetic plate. And we're just going to cut the little gateway here. Okay, now did any of the dies stick to that? I don't think so. I think we're good. Okay. I need to put these new dies on a magnetic photograph sheet or something, piece of magnet, because then I don't have to worry about them sticking. See how I've got tape this on the cardboard? Eventually the tape's not sticky and then I start losing dies. So I usually transfer it over to these magnetic sheets that I buy from the dollar store. So that's my tip of the day. Okay, that's one. And then I'm just going to run through and get a second one at the same time while I've got this done. I only need one, but I wanted to give a bonus so that you can make a second part at home once you have the instructions, even though you don't have the dies. I can't provide stamped images to Stamp Set of the Month, but I sure can give you some dies. So if you find you have this set, need more dies, just talk to me and I'll figure it out for you. Okay, so I'm just going to put this to the side. And I'm going to clean this up because I'm going to need it for possibly some flowers. There we go. Okay, and I'm just going to move this over because if I don't put it in one place, I will be looking for it in a second. Okay, ready to stamp. So we'll put our dies over here. This is where you need your take a pick tool because it actually has the pick part to clear your dies. Make sure you always clear your dies before you run it through again. Otherwise it won't cut all the way through. It's really important that you do it. That's why I recommend this take your pick tool. Okay, so now that that is done, what I did was take my scissors and cut down the middle. These are my paper snips. And then that gives you this fun little door that opens. Okay, so this is my extra piece. I'll set that aside. This is garbage. And now what I can do is actually glue this down. And I'm just going to use my liquid glue just in case I have to move it or wiggle it a little bit. The die over there. So I hope everybody's having a really great day. Oh, I'm okay. A really great day. You're probably thinking, what did she say? Oh, I noticed I got some glue on my card front, but luckily I'm putting this over top, so that's okay. Okay, and then this just like, it allows me to wiggle it if I was off a little bit. Okay, that's pretty good. So this is now my card base. I want to stamp the sentiment inside of this, so let's do that right now. So I'm going to be using, of all the blossoms in life's garden, friendship is the most fragrant. Isn't that a beautiful saying? What I love about this set, it's got really pretty sentiments. Okay, and I will just put this on my block, and I'm going to use Memento black ink. Now, sometimes when these are new, it resists the ink a little bit, so you may want to just clean it or give it a wipe. Okay, and I'm just going to stamp it right about here. Okay, perfect. I'm happy with that. And what else did I need to do? I added some flowers at the side. So I guess I can do that right now. Do I have my tall flowers? Somebody said they're called hollyhocks. Is that right? I have no clue. I am flower challenged. So let's put this on here. Okay, we'll pull this one off. Just kind of put it to the side. Okay, and then I'm just going to stamp one of these at the side. Right about here. So that you can still see it through my project. And then we'll put the shorter flowers to the side over here. I guess I should have done this one first, but that's okay. And then this one we're just going to kind of fill in. There. Doesn't that look cute? And then I'm going to, maybe I'll just color these ones right now, and then we'll do some other die cutting. Now, because I'm using Whisper White cardstock, I can't use stamping blends because it will bleed through the paper. So instead, I used my Stampin' Write markers. If you wanted to make this card and you only have blends, then you can actually cut an inside piece and put it on the inside, and then you can use your blends if you want. So I am just using Melon Mambo Stampin' Write marker. There we go. And the blends, blends work a little bit better normally, but I find with this Whisper White cardstock and coloring the flowers, it doesn't really matter whether you're using the blends or the Stampin' Write markers. Stampin' Write markers you can actually color, use on the rubber mount stamps in place of ink pads. So it just gives you more colors to use in place of ink pads. It's a little more cost effective because a marker is around $4 and the ink pads are $10.25 unless you buy them in a package of 10. And then if you buy a package of 10, they're like $9.25, I think, is the deal. Okay, let's just color in this part. There, we'll just kind of drag that down a bit so it doesn't look like my flowers are floating in space. There, isn't that pretty? Oops, and I think I've got some more flowers here, so let's just color this in a bit. Like so. Okay, and then this one we're going to use Daffodil Delight for these little flowers here. You can see it doesn't really take long to do the coloring. And then I'm now going to use Blushing Bride, which is a nice light pink color. Petal Pink also really looks great. And there we go. Okay, now the inside's done. I'll just set this aside, and then I'm going to show you how to put this on. I like to put this down just in case I get a little bit of ink contamination. So let's get that so it's go over that score line with my bone folder. Hopefully it'll lay flat. And then I'm going to turn this over and add a thin amount of my liquid glue. Liquid glue is very messy, so you got to use a very gentle hand and apply gentle pressure so you don't create a giant gluey mess. Okay, now I'm going to pick this up. Might actually be easier to attach your frame and then cut the gate in half. I know I probably should have tried that. Let's see. See how some of the glue pulls over a little bit? Not pulls over, sorry. See how the glue, the frame is a little bit smaller than the hole that I cut. So that's why I wanted to use my silicone mat, just so this glue will dry clear, but I don't want to stick things together. That's what I was trying to say. Okay, so this card is pretty much done. So all I did to finish it off was I stamped the rose trellis image, just this one here. And if you just use your scissors to fussy cut it out, and then I stamped this image again, and then this one again, which I've already done on the inside, and then added my little cat. So you can just use your scissors to cut those out. And then to finish off the cards, I have given everybody these cute little sequins, these flower sequins. And I will just lift them up. Now the glue dot sometimes is kind of hard to get, so make sure you grab your paper snips and get right under the little glue. The glue dots are actually in a flower shape. But if you just grab them with your fingers, you're going to leave the glue dots on the paper, and you don't want that. Okay, so I won't do any more stamping on this card, just so I don't keep you here too long. But you can now see how to finish it off, right? You need the same image. It goes over here, and then this one goes on the other side with a little kitty. So that's going to be your second card. Now I'll show you the last card that we're going to be doing. And I'll just tidy up my little space for a little bit. We're going to need the fence image again. So let's get my little cleaning cloth. If you don't have one of these, you can use diaper wipes. Or you can buy one of these. They're not that expensive. I think they're $10 maybe. Okay, we need to put our gate is not going to fit on there. Huh. Well, that's not going to work. So let's put this away, and then I'll get another block. I have a lot of blocks. Let's see. Yes, this is how I store most of my blocks. There are nice little cases that you can get to store your blocks in. They look like this. And then you would have one spot for each block. And it keeps them really safe. But because I do so many classes, I don't have enough cases, so I just moved to that plastic case in the meantime. Okay, now this is the next card that we're going to make. So we're also going to need this image as well. We're going to extend the fence. And we are using, where's my kit? This is actually fun. I like this one. It's so pretty. Okay, so let's get out a card kit. So I started with Calypso Coral cardstock, cut at 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches, and it's already scored, so that makes my card base. And then I'll put together, this is Petal Pink cardstock, and I'm using this Woven Threads Designer Series paper. So we'll just glue that down on the card base. Sorry, I hope I haven't been off the video the whole time. I didn't want to pull this down too far. Okay, there we go. I don't want to be stamping down here where you can't see anything. I probably have been. But I'll try to get in the frame of the camera for you guys right now. Okay, let's put this here. And then we'll do our stamping. Now this next piece, so that's a card base, easy peasy. And again, you have the PDF tutorial of all the measurements. This is a crumb cake piece of cardstock. And it is 3 1/8 by 4 1/2. And then this is shimmery white cardstock. So this is a special cardstock. It's a little bit thicker. It's got a little bit of shimmer in the cardstock, and it's a bit thicker than Whisper White cardstock. So I like it for a little bit of gentle watercoloring, we'll call it. But we're actually going to color with our Wink of Stella brush. Did you know you could do that? It's pretty fun. Okay, step 1, let's stamp our gate. And I'm inking it up this way to make sure that I'm getting good coverage. And I think it goes right about here. Okay, and then I'll stamp my second little gate piece right beside it. And then these tall flowers, are they hollyhocks? If they're not, I apologize. I'm not very good with flowers. This is going to go right here. And then I've given you a little piece of scrap paper because we're going to stamp this little smaller image here, and then you can just cut it out. Fussy cut it out to put in front of the stamp. And then I think I added the little bird. Where's the little bird? I did add the bird. Okay. Where is my stamp set? Right here. And the little bird we're just going to put right here. And I'm just going to stamp it on top of the post. There you go. That's what I love about photopolymer stamps. They're really, really easy to line up. And then I'm going to use With All My Heart. So I need one of the blocks again. So let's do a little bit of cleaning. Clean this one, clean this one, clean the bird, clean the hollyhocks, and then the fence. There we go. Now I'm cleaned up. I'm ready to go. Okay. So we'll take this little fence piece away, and then I'm going to line up With All My Heart. And then I thought on the inside of the card, you can put happy birthday, you can put happy anniversary, whatever you want. Or the sentiment I think that goes with this, With All My Heart, is of all the blossoms in life gardens, friendship is the most fragrant. Isn't that nice? That's so nice. Okay, now I'll show you how to color these. Okay. Now the first thing you want to do is get your ink pads, because we're coloring with ink pads. And you have to squeeze like this. If you have an old ink pad, you just squeeze gently. But these ones, when you squeeze them hard, they will leave a pool of ink on the top. Now, can you see all this ink? That's because I used a re-inker. So if you have re-inkers, use re-inkers for your ink pads. And you're just going to pick it up and you're just going to start coloring. So it's darker at the top and then it gets lighter at the bottom. And I kind of like that. And I'm doing that the same with all my fence posts. Darker at the top, and then it just gets a bit lighter. And it just gives it a nice shading, and I don't even have to do much to it. And you can see how quick it is. So the Wink of Stella is around $11. Hopefully it's not back ordered now. The last time I ordered one last week, it was getting on the low inventory list. Okay. And then I'll just go through these sort of cross pieces of fence. I don't know what you want to call them. Crossbar. I don't know. What do you think? And then once I'm done, I'm just going to go over here and we're just going to clean it. Okay, now it's ready for the next color. which is going to be, I used Pear Pizzazz. You know what, let's do the little bird quick. Hopefully, oh no. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. You can see it's not that hard, but you got to use some muscle. Okay, there's my little bird. And then we'll clean that. And once you can see I'm cleaning it up here, and then it runs clear, then I'm ready to switch the color. Okay, and then this one, Calypso Coral. Oh good, I've got some color on here already. Sometimes I don't even clean them, I just leave them dirty, so the next time I color, I've already got a pool of ink on the top of my pad. And then if I want a darker color, well, I would just give it a squeeze to release a bit more ink. I don't want this too dark. I'm just adding a little touch of color, a touch of Calypso Coral for spring. And then I love the fine tip as well that this Wink of Stella has. Just give these little flowers at the top some color. Okay, and I think the rest is green, so let's clean this one. And then we'll use our Pear Pizzazz. Okay, so this one needs a squeeze as well. I don't know what I used to color those other ones. See, this one didn't come out that much, but it still should be enough. Yeah, that's good enough. I'm happy with that. And it's pretty quick to actually color these. It doesn't take that long. No, I do need some more color. Oh, let's see. Give that a squeeze. There we go. There's some color I can actually use. Okay. I'll just pull some down here so my fence is not floating in the sky. Okay, what do you think? Isn't that cute? And then this little flower, we'll just color, add a bit of color like this, and then we can cut it out. Okay, and then I have to finish off with the yellow again on this piece. Trying to do it fast so that my video doesn't run too long for you guys. But it is fun stamping together. And I'm so glad you got this class for me. I hope you really like it. I love this stamp set. Okay, so there we go. I am done with that. Now, I just stapled a little bit of ribbon on it. This is the Daffodil Delight ruched ribbon. It's funny, when they first came out with this, I thought it was like a runched ribbon, and my friend's like, no, it's ruched. Like, what the heck is ruched ribbon? But now I know. Okay, and I'm just going to staple this on here, like so. The Stampin' Up! Stapler is not available, but just use whatever stapler you have. And I'm just going to trim it off, so I want to be able to see my beautiful flowers that I just colored. So we're just going to trim that a bit. And then to cover that staple, I took some linen thread. And we're just going to tie a bunny ear bow. So you just make 2 loops and then put 1 loop over top of the other. So you cross it, make an X, and then poke this 1 loop through the center of the hole that you created. And then you have a cute little bow. And then to attach the bow, I like to use glue dots. Now, if you don't have glue dots, but you have liquid glue, add a dab on here, put it on here, and then let it sit for about 10-15 minutes. Okay, and then we'll put that here. And then to attach that to my project, then I'm just going to use Stampin' Dimensionals. So what do you think? Isn't this a cute card? And what a great way to color. Don't you think? So if you need to order more supplies that you've seen here today, you can go to karinachin.stampinup.net. This is the hostess code for April. So if you're ordering less than $200, I would appreciate it if you'd use the hostess code, and then that way I get hostess benefits for all my door prizes. And then the last little thing with this is I will use the die, but like I said, you guys can just cut it out with scissors. It's not that hard to cut out. Sometimes it's actually easier than using the Big Shot. Okay, what am I on? This is not laying flat. Make some space. Put this down. There we go. And then I'll just put this on here. And we'll cut it out. So you can see if you have the dies, it does save a bit of time. But you don't really need them other than that one card that has the gate that opens with the opening on the white card that I showed you. And hopefully they will be available. I don't know, we'll have to see if Stampin' Up! Gets the order that they placed, then you'll be able to get them. If not, contact me and I will cut you some pieces because you bought this kit from me. Okay, and then we're just going to glue this one down here like so. And you can use your snail adhesive too. It doesn't have to be this one. And that's it for the card. So those are going to be the 3 cards this month that I've showed you. So this is one. This is the first one, the second one, and then the 2 fancy, and then the fancy fold one. So these are the 3 cards this month. And I wanted to thank you so much for getting this from me. And I hope you have an amazing day. Bye.